Rolling. Well, what's up, guys? Welcome. My name is daCosta, and I'm here with the one, the only Flozigg on behalf of Soul Food Sin. I just want to first of all say thanks for making the time, man, all the way from Florida.
Of course, yeah. No, thank you for having me. Much love.
Can you tell? I think the story of kind of how we connected is like a very funny and out of the blue one. Can you tell us
Yeah,
a little bit about
very
how
true.
how we even crossed paths in the first place?
How we been cross paths? Yeah. Well, I mean, I can start off by saying my mother's a very supportive person. My
Mm,
mother's a very loving person, and she's someone who you know always wants to help in any way. And sometimes it's just I know it's a motherly thing, so it's something that may not necessarily be helping, but she wants the effort. In this case, I feel like she just messaged me and said, someone I used to go to school with, his son, his son is doing really cool things in Australia. He has a podcast, this and that. I was like, I appreciate it, man. I'll check it out. And um, when I went to your page and I just saw what type of environment you surround yourself in, I feel like I appreciated. I really appreciated what you do, and that's yeah.
I
I
will
feel
do.
like that was so interesting too to find that the connection of of our parents
Yeah,
because I feel like that's what it really is with Ghana.
it,
Everyone
it,
just knows each other.
it
It's one
it's
big family.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just like it's because my dad's always on the phone with just people he knew from school back in Ghana, and it's just like it's
All the
yeah.
time.
When you reached out, I was surprised and I was flattered too because like that was the first time we met, and I remember checking you out. And I heard the music, and I was like, oh shoot, what the heck? Like that's like I heard your sound and
Yeah,
just fell in love with it, bro. Like you're doing it's like your music is incredible, and I'm really keen to
thank you, bro.
to kind of get into the story of that. I mean, and I guess kind of
Yeah,
starting from that point, I want to ask like, what has your journey like what got you into music in the first place? Because when you messaged me in the first place, again, any Ghanaians know if you're
yeah,
not always guaranteed to be kind of getting the push to be creative and artsy. Clearly, that's not been the case for
not
you.
at all.
What's that journey been like for you in terms of getting into music in the first place?
Yeah, get into music in the first place. I think that to begin with, my parents were more open to it than the average, West African, parents because there was a lot of art in their family.
Mm,
You know, not I don't think anyone did it professionally, but I know that my mom's dad was a musician and my dad's dad did pottery,
mm,
and so they both had forms of art that they indulged in. And my parents too are actually creative people. Like my dad likes to draw. Um, he likes to create things. He likes to build with his hands. He's very handy, and I think there's some creative aspects to that too. A lot actually. And
absolutely.
then my mom is also creative too. She loves music. She loves music, and I think I get a lot of my taste from her. But yeah, I think that's why they fostered an environment in the household where they were like, we want to nurture your creative, the creative side of you. Did they necessarily, want me to go pursue it as instead of another career? Maybe not, but they did always. I do always remember encouragement of, yeah, you want to learn piano. Let's take you to piano lessons.
Mm,
You want to understand more of this. Like I help you. The first time I bought the program that I still use to this day to produce, it was like $200, and I was like 13, so I didn't really have money like that. And my dad was like, "Yeah, I'll do that for you," So like, I'm grateful, for the fact that they always did encourage me and didn't tell me to ignore that side of me.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like because of that, it allowed me to just never let go of it as I
Mm,
grew up. It's something that almost like music found me in a sense, and
yeah,
I just decided to never let it go.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I feel like me being in touch with it all of these years, and then me just getting to a point where it was kind of like um, an underlying feeling that took some time to acknowledge, but I kind of always knew deep down that I wanted to be an artist. Like In
Yeah.
fact, I just had visited my parents like a month ago, and we were watching old videos, and there was a video of, I think it was second grade, and there was like a some event that we did. It was something related to like cultural fashion, and I was wearing some Ghanaian garb, and they said on the loudspeaker like he wants to be a doctor or an artist when he grows up. And in my head, I knew I had said the doctor one just because I knew that I wanted to have some type of safe
Yep.
option for people to not be like, you know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
even just hearing that and me forgetting that that's where my headspace was at, even that little, almost reminded me how much this is. This has always just kind of been something that was meant for me. You get me?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I feel like that's really, in terms of relationship to music, that's kind of how it happened as I grew up and what that developed into. And then
Mm.
over time I just continued to stay curious about it.
Yep.
So that's how I learned. I was
Absolutely.
curious about how do people put music out, so I started understanding how does that even happen. I did research. I was curious to know how people got their music to sound a certain way, and when I was still learning, so I had to like
Yep.
unpack it. I reproduced music that I like. I tried to compare my like mix engineering to someone else's mix engineering that I listened to.
And how old were you? How old are you at this point? Because it sounds like you're beginning to describe the point in which you kind of started. I guess. Well, I mean, it was always serious, but kind of actually
Yeah,
started kind of like putting
actually being
into an
intentional.
input.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah,
I think that would be high school for sure. I
yeah,
think that would be high school no question. I think music was always a part of my life, but high school is when it became, a presence in my life.
yeah,
Like it became it was a different level for sure.
yeah,
I started out by just listening to music differently.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like I had always been infatuated, but I started to listen to music differently, like paying attention to each layer of the music.
yeah, yeah,
Background vocals, and just those types of things that I didn't know what they were technically called yet. But I think that was probably around 16 was the age of like was a
yeah.
right turn for me.
Well, that kind of flows nicely into the next question because what I wanted to ask is who are some of those artists early and even now that a younger you heard and was just like, how are they doing that? What is that? Like,
How do I?
how do I recreate that? How do I produce that? How
I
do I
mean, I
get
think
in that space?
how do I get in that space? I think it's a myriad of artists, but
Of
I feel
course.
like it's not something in this question. It's not even something to stray away from the obvious ones.
Mm.
Kendrick,
Yeah.
Drake.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Absolutely.
J. Cole too. But I feel like with J. Cole, I feel like I listen to J. Cole more so because I feel like he was speaking directly to me. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
in terms of like listening to music and being like, how do I understand that, or how do I get there? To me, it was Kendrick and Drake were big ones, and then there was also at the time too. I was listening to like people. Chance the Rapper is a good one too.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like he's so expressive. He was so expressive in the
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
and that
He's
was
got such
something
a
that I
freedom.
feel like I take from. So
Yeah, oh no, I was just saying he's got such a well, at least older chance. There's like
yeah,
so
yeah,
much freedom like in how he
yeah,
expresses, And actually it's
exactly,
it's
exactly.
it's cool hearing you say these influences because obviously your later tracks, like your more recent ones, you're singing a lot more. And when I was kind of going
Yeah,
through some of the older tracks, I was like, oh, hold on, I think what one of the things that have really impressed me about you is
yeah,
your versatility and how
yeah, yeah,
when you're singing, it sounds like you're a singer. But then I heard some of the rap verses, and I'm like, oh, hold on, like
yeah,
you're a lyricist, and
yeah.
even in looking at your features, like the versatility is remarkable. And like so to
Thank
hear you
you.
say
Yeah,
like
no.
Kendrick and Drake, I was like, that's sick, and I can hear that. But when I hear your stuff, I hear like also like Pharrell, I hear
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I hear like subtle bits of Justin Timberlake. I hear
yeah,
even kind of like
yeah, yeah.
Timberland influence as well. And it's
No,
yeah,
no, no. Yeah.
and it's like
I think Justin. Yeah, Justin.
mm.
That's all I'm gonna say. I have to add that. But continue. I don't want to use it. What?
No, no, no. That's pretty much it, man. Like it's cool to hear, and now knowing that you've got kind of Kendrick, Drake, I can hear, I'm playing back some of the music in my head. I'm like, I hear that too, and that's dope, and that's dope.
Yeah,
And so when you started taking it more seriously in high school and into kind of the college years, all that kind of stuff. Talk to me about some of your first recording experiences, some of your first performing experiences. What was
Yeah,
that like?
that's a great question, man. So, I mean, I'll say in terms of performances, I didn't start performing until 2020, really,
Mm,
and that was after I had left school. So,
yeah.
during the high school, me making music during school, which honestly was a beautiful time,
Mm,
but I really would just divide my time and divide and devote my time between school and music, really.
yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's just, that's just what it was. That's what life was, at the time. And I feel like, in terms of my earliest recording experiences, it's funny. My first song that I ever put out, that's on SoundCloud. Um, I recorded a part of it, actually the second half of it, in like the room of my school,
Oh,
in like a
damn.
room of my school. Yeah, because at the time, like, I was just like, I was trying to finish the song before I graduated. I was a senior,
Yeah,
and I knew I wanted to put music out for people around me to, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to put music out before we left, so people could acknowledge, and kind of the people I knew in high school could kind of see it, and
yeah.
like kind of see where at what point I'm at. But um, that song was, I used to record everything on my Apple headphones, like the wire headphones. Every
Man.
song. Yeah. Yo, it's funny? Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I recorded like two of the songs of Burgundy on my phone.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, Serious was recorded on like my phone.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And I
wow.
just mixed it, and so was No
And
Service,
and
actually.
you wait, so you recorded it on your phone and
Damn,
you
I
mixed it.
forgot this too. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah,
No, see
and
that's crazy. That's crazy because
I
now the
mixed
song
it, yeah.
because yeah, that does it doesn't sound like amateurly mixed in the slightest. That doesn't sound mixed on a phone or recorded on the phone. That's
Wow.
crazy. And
Yeah.
and the song you're speaking of, the high school one, was that the feels?
Yeah. That was the feels. Yeah.
Right. See, because I listened to because I listened to that in the lead up, and
Yeah.
obviously I checked out your SoundCloud. This is the earliest song, and I was expecting it to be good still, but I was expecting it to be like I was expecting it to sound kind of like the early part of your journey, and obviously
Yeah.
obviously you have grown and improved. But I listened to it, I'm like, hold on, you kind of being that guy from the beginning, from the beginning, at least from that, at least from that first track.
Yeah.
Like it's like I look at,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't, in terms of like recording and music myself, it's not my main hustle. I'm just doing
Yeah.
it for fun. But
Yeah.
my early kind of demo, like I love them, but I can, I can hear how it's like, yeah, like, this could be shaped up, all this kind of stuff. The lyrics are
Yeah.
never,
Yeah.
but like going to the fields, I'm like, this very much sounds like this could have been a SoundCloud release. I mean, a Spotify, like,
Yeah.
Spotify streaming releases. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
No, I
yeah,
think, bro, I think that, I mean, I do think it's important to note that that's the first trace of my internet presence. I
right,
was
yeah,
working on music, for some time before that,
makes sense.
at least a couple years. But I'll say that the feels, to me, the reason why what it was is because, like, that's the song that I took the furthest
Yeah,
in terms of my dedication to it. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah, I hear
So,
that.
like, yeah, but not, no, I appreciate that. The feels was completely on the phone. That I can tell you 100%. I recorded it on my phone.
Yeah.
I had this specific app.
Oh, you still have it?
I think I deleted it. I'm not gonna hold you.
Fair. Now that's amazing, man. And so kind of going from that kind of first track to let's go to your first performance now.
Yeah,
Which is I'm about to say 2022. It feels recent, but 2020 is 3 years ago now. So actually, I'm still tripping the fact that
yeah,
2020 was 3 years ago.
yeah. That's kind of,
Um,
yeah. It's kind of wild. It's kind
but
of
yeah,
wild.
but talk to me about your first release. Oh, no, sorry. Talk to me about your first performances, and then talk to me about okay, like you're beginning to release projects now. So the Burgundy tape, and kind of the kickoff from that.
Yeah. The Burgundy tape. Yeah. Um, my first performances were after I released Burgundy.
Yeah,
Um, Leading up to Burgundy, I mean, in terms of what the situation was, I was working on Burgundy for some time, probably like while I was in school, I was kind of working on it. You know, some of the songs that I created during that time ended up being on Burgundy, and
Mm.
I just kind of was like plotting how I was gonna, you know, how I was gonna introduce myself to the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I had to like I explained before, like I wanted to be an artist for some time now,
Yeah.
but for like since I was a kid, but over time, you know, my experiences refined. You feel me? My
Yep.
taste and
Yep.
refined everything, like my taste in music, my taste in whatever visuals, this and that, and understanding what I like and don't like and all of that. So with Burgundy, it was just like, okay, I knew I didn't want to come out with a single, with just a single, because I felt like
Mm.
because of how versatile I am, I wouldn't want to offer something doesn't show enough of what I can do
Yep.
as
Yep.
my
Yep.
first offering and just be pushing that, you know. So
Yep.
my mentality was almost like, okay, put together a short project, you know, package a short project, and you can push one of them afterward, maybe as a quote unquote focus. But like
Mm.
the way I saw it was like, if someone finds that song, then they can come back to a whole project of other things to listen to, you know, right then and there.
I, I really like that outlook as well. It's like, yeah, just it's already setting up. So yeah, people have there's already, even though you're only just out, you've got a sample. I think that there is a I feel like there can be a lot of kind of fear and hesitation to lead with a
Yeah,
body of work sometimes, especially
yeah,
as an
yeah,
emerging artist, because it's like, oh, like I want to blah blah blah, I want to do this, I want to build up, build up, build up. I really
yeah,
like that, and I think it's worked for you because obviously, like, I mean,
yeah,
you know, like it seems like it's your growth over in terms of like your kind of
yeah,
reach in your crowd has been explosive, and
yeah.
yeah. So talk to me about that first show.
That first show, man. Um, the first show I ever did was, yeah, it was this woman in Orlando that I think came across a video of me promoting July off of Burgundy. Her name is
Mm,
Jen Desire, and she had reached out to me just about performing. She was like, "I just like your music. You know, would you be down to come perform at this event
mm,
that they were doing in Orlando at the time?" And I was I was definitely like, there was some fear there because to me it was like performing was like that's in the future, like you feel me, at some point I'll start, like
yeah.
it wasn't something I, even because I was so in love with the creation process and like, you know, releasing and stuff like that. And
Mm,
so um yeah, I was speaking to like someone who was like kind of like a mentor figure at the time slash someone I was potentially going to do business with, and he was telling me like it's never too early to start, you know, like you might as well, you know, jump at it now. And I was like, I know at some point I want to perform, so it's, you know, either try it or don't try it, and this is a perfect opportunity, you
yeah.
know. So I went. It was actually a good crowd too. It was like 200 to 300 people that
Dang, for
came
the
out
first
because
show.
yeah, because she put me in like a lineup, so it wasn't all Flozigg, you know, people coming for Flozigg at the time,
Yeah.
but that was the crowd that I was in front of though, and it was fire. It was great
Mm,
energy. It was a lot of beautiful black people. I remember, and
mm,
I had like a little, like storyline I told in between the songs and stuff, and kind of told a story about a relationship. It was
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that's hard.
It was
That's hard.
cool.
That's hard. It's like,
Yeah,
and again, and that reminds me of like, because another one of the things that I really like about your music and your releases is there is a very clear, despite the versatility, there's a very clear
yeah,
creative vision,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
you just see it in the album art, in the press photos, in the music
yeah.
videos that's been out so far. Like the video
Thank
for
you.
Mutual is amazing. Even
Yeah,
even the logo, even your even the Flozigg logo. And I want to
yeah,
ask, like when we talk about
yeah,
creative vision, like
yeah.
how would you describe Flozigg, and also where does that name come from?
I got you. How I describe Flozig? I feel like I would describe my me as like sophisticated,
Mm,
elegant, um, playful,
mm,
sincere.
yeah.
I think those are four good words.
Yep, yep, yep. No, I see that. I see that for sure, for sure. And so where did Flozigg come from as well?
Oh, flows. That was it's some. Honestly, it was some girl that I liked in like eighth grade, and I was coming up with an Instagram name, and I think she was the one who was like, "Yeah, you should get on it." Like, and I didn't even have a phone at the time, so I had like an iPod, and I was like, "All right, fuck it, okay, IG."
Yep.
I was like, "All right, what should I like name it?" And she was like, "Oh, you could put like your first name and your last name together." So that's where that's where it comes from. I'm not gonna say it, but that's where it comes
Yeah,
from.
no, no, fair enough. Yeah, yeah. That's
It's like parts of my first and last name.
yep, 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 yep. Nah, nah, I love that. I swear it's
Yeah,
always
it's pretty
it's always
straightforward.
a story like that. Yeah. Now when it works, man, it's got a nice ring to it. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, yeah, but I feel like when I say it's stuck though, it was something I intentionally thought about though. Like I was
Yeah.
ready to change it if something else made sense. You feel me? It wasn't just like oh cool, but like I just I grew a liking to it, and it's like close to my actual name, but not really. So it's still there's still
Mm,
aspect of me that feels like me, right?
yeah,
And then
absolutely.
also and then also the point of like how it flows out and how it flows when you say it.
Mm,
No pun intended. Like and then
yeah,
the fact that people can call me Flow, it just goes with even the way of life. That I like to lead. So it's like there's a lot of things that I feel connected to it
absolutely. I mean, yeah,
about it that I feel connected to.
yeah, no, no,
Yeah,
for sure, and it rings and yeah, again, even the fact that you've had it since eighth grade as well, it's like it. I think it's kind of almost like there's an
yeah, it's
allegory
true.
in that for like just how you've kind of it's been true to you since the beginning, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
because you hear
yeah,
so
yeah.
many other
Damn,
stories of just like oh, like
damn.
I started with this name, I
Yeah,
changed this name, blah blah, I had to find this, but it's
yeah,
like this
yeah,
name
yeah,
is actually like it's been with me since yeah, because it works and it's timeless,
yeah,
much
yeah.
like the music.
It's true, bro. I like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Nah, it's
yeah.
a fact. I appreciate that.
Nah, dude, that's that. Yeah, that's appreciate you for sharing, bro. That's dope. And so, and the other question I've
Yeah,
got,
for sure.
well, I've got a few more questions, bro. But what the other one I've got is,
Yeah,
you described kind of what Flozig is, but
yeah,
when you make music, and you mentioned as well that you're in love with the process. You've got one song that you've got one snippet on your SoundCloud. I think that's called the intro brackets vert,
yeah,
which and then you mentioned that you were just it was devout schoolwork and music for you. So
yeah,
I'm guessing that there's an introverted spirit about what you do and kind of like an ability to lock in and be alone.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, for
and
sure,
and so
for
and
sure,
so and so with that,
for sure.
it makes me curious. Like, oh yeah, and there's also the fact that you were making music for years before you performed, and obviously when you performed, it was
Yeah,
great. But it's like it was all kind of happening on an
yeah,
insular place first. When you create
yeah.
music, what are you seeking, and what do you want your listeners to feel?
When I'm creating music, what am I seeking?
Yeah.
When I'm creating music, what I'm seeking is to unclog the passageway between me and, you know, source or
Mm,
God or
mm,
wherever I'm translating the ideas through. Because
mm,
when I'm creating music in its authentic like form, I'm a vessel. Like in
mm,
its most authentic state, I'm a vessel, and I'm very present, which is why like it's called the state of flow. Considered the state of flow. I feel like I create for that feeling because it
mm.
feels like my purpose.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel very one with myself
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
state of flow. So I feel like that's what I aim to reach when I'm creating. And then in terms of like, and then there's that, and then the second thing is like just true self expression. You know,
Mm, yeah.
and true self expression doesn't even have to mean a real life story. Like true self expression is just like my true perspective on it. Like
Yeah.
you could tell a story, and your two friends can tell the same story in a song, and you'll have different ways of explaining a character. You have different ways of seeing who's the bad person or who's
Yeah. Yeah.
like. So it's like it's all about just your perspective on it. So it's like one is to reach that state as much as possible, and two is to like express my perspective through the
Yeah.
music. whatever that
Absolutely.
may be on whatever I decide to, speak about, which is
Yep.
also my perspective because I'm not every artist is going to speak about everything,
Yep. 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 I feel like is the state of flow, is that like a tease for a potential album? That's I feel like there's a song or a
maybe
project naming that. No, that's beautiful.
something. There's something
Yeah.
there. There's
Yeah.
something there. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. I think
And
there's potential. There's
yeah. Yeah.
potential for it.
And so with that, like, I mean, like that is such a pure and intimate experience and contention, behind making the music. And so what like what
Yeah,
what are you hoping to leave the audience with in that case? Like where do your listeners come in that vision? What are
yeah,
you hoping for?
yeah. Honestly, what I'm hoping for is that, I think above all, I want people to, one, feel seen, two, feel inspired, and three, feel like they can express themselves as freely as I do.
Yeah.
In a sense, lead by example. You
Yeah.
know, because we all
Yeah.
have something to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's music is a powerful thing. So I kind of do know the responsibility it comes with deciding what to and how to say things in music. So I feel
Mm.
like that's definitely an avenue of impact that I hold close to me, is to be
Yes.
able to encourage and to be able to just make people allow people to feel something that they don't necessarily give themselves permission to feel.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
You
Yep.
know, if they
Absolutely.
weren't listening to music.
100%. 100%. With how you create and everything like that, and again with the quality of music, I've heard the quality of the features. um it makes sense that you'd be someone who is very intentional and careful about who he works with. um
Yeah,
what are some of your favorite collaborative experiences, and what do you look for in a music collaborator?
yeah. I think what I look for in a music collaborator is, one, some sense of similar values.
Yep.
You know, and even in just composure, like how decide to come like speak to other people
Mm,
and communicate, like how easy it is to communicate with you. For me,
mm,
that's even a simple thing. Like you could be amazing, but if we don't communicate well, or it's not really fluid like that, I think that's a barrier.
yep.
Or it
Yep.
can be a barrier. So I think on a foundational level, there's that. I think it's also like willingness to be open minded. It's also like, are we creating to create the best product out of this? Are we creating for, like, how much is ego involved when you're creating?
Yep. Yep.
I think that's
100%.
important too, because you know me. If Yeah, how involved is the ego in creating? You get me? And it's like
100%.
willingness to adapt and willingness to collaborate.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
that's So I feel like a foundation level is that, and then I feel like I also just obviously doesn't need to goes without being said, but I have to like really like what you do,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Of
and
course.
like the like the music and like feel something and think it's something that's pushing the boundaries of what people are ready to pushing the boundaries for what people already perceive music to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's important. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I,
No.
I, I
Yeah.
think, yeah. Of
No.
course, it's good to fire to channel. It's beautiful to channel what you love, but I want to hear what your spin on it is.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Absolutely.
like uniqueness is important to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, beautifully said. Beautifully said. Well, I mean, we're coming to the latter end and of this
Okay.
conversation. Um, but I feel like I could. Me personally, I feel like I could go for 2 more hours. But what I
Nah, this is a
want
great conversation.
to.
Really,
Oh,
when
more
you
to
said
come.
last few, I was like, damn.
Bro, I have to,
That's
bro.
a
I have
good
to, man.
combo.
It's I can't come back into a conversation like this, man. I always
Yeah.
say, like the thing is, I do this for the enjoyment, but on like a clout level, my price has just gone up talking to you.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Nah, love to hear. Let them know.
yeah,
Yesterday's
yeah,
price is not today's price.
exactly.
It's not
Um,
today's price.
what I want to ask about is kind of what do you have? Do you what's coming up that you can share with us? Well, actually, two things. What's
Um,
coming up that you can share with us, or what should we be on the lookout for? And
yeah,
when's the Melbourne trip?
I got you. Nah, I think Melbourne is soon. Many cities soon. I see
Mm,
it. I see it very vividly. But what's coming up? Honestly, I've been completely immersed in the experience of making this next project that I'm working on.
mm.
It's called Tangerine. It's another EP.
Oh, hell
Yeah,
yes, hell
and
yes,
I feel like that's what you could be on the lookout for, man.
hell
That's the
yes.
next. That's the energy we're moving into. So it's a project called Tangerine. I think it's a beautiful meld of other aspects of me that people maybe haven't heard before and
Mm,
what people have heard before. And I feel like I'm very excited and intrigued to see what what is going to come of the new energy I'm putting out there, and after this next offering. And I feel like what you can look out for is like me seeking to create immersive experiences for
yeah,
the people who listen to my music. And when I say immersive, I think one of the things I mean is crossing over different mediums of media
yeah,
different crossing over different mediums of art,
yeah.
because there's many mediums and music is the one I thrive in, but I want to be able to um intertwine music and art, music and poetry, music and whatever other forms of art in seamless ways. So I
One
feel like that's been a way that I want,
100%. I think I
feel like that's
see.
something you can look out for.
For sure, for sure. I think I see in you and kind of artists of your caliber. Like oftentimes the kind of journey is music is the vessel in, and but it's kind
Yeah,
of like in the same way like Pharrell started off making music and he's now the head of Louis
yeah,
Vuitton.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
or you know they'll go
yeah,
and there's film. I don't like music will forever be the main expression, of course, but I can see it just bleeding out. Like it seems too big to
yeah,
be
yeah,
contained, and even in just saying like even in you just saying like this EP is Tangerine, like I just like I had to stop myself from going into like, well, what's the meaning of Tangerine? Because I can just tell there was such an intention even in the title. Like I just know I can already feel like the package that's gonna come. So no,
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very
yeah,
excited, man. I'm very excited.
yeah. I
I
love
know it's
that,
gonna be
man.
good. I know
Nah,
it's
I
gonna
love
be
that.
good. If you look
Yeah,
off camera, I hope I get to hear a little demo there, here or two before we go. But look, it's on your time,
just so.
on your time, bro.
Nah, honestly, I would love to share, bro. Genuinely,
Dude,
I
I'd be
would love to
honored. I'd be
share. I
honored.
got you. I got
And
you.
yeah, yeah. But let me just say thank you so much for your time, man. I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for just sharing so much of your heart and your vision, man. I think that it's one thing
Thank
hearing
you.
the music and resonating with it, but then just hearing kind of where it comes from just makes it just all the more
Yeah,
richer. And
yeah,
I'm just super excited that we've crossed paths, and I'm super excited to
yeah,
watch your journey from from here in Australia. Although I'm trying to be worldwide as well, so
yeah. Of course.
we'll be
Yeah,
meeting each other all over places. But
yeah, yeah. I
I'm super
definitely see it.
excited. I'm super excited to kind of see where you're going, and yeah, man. Nah, it's been a
Yeah.
pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
No, my pleasure too. I
Mm.
appreciate you.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing as
Have
well.
a great rest of your day.
Yeah,
What's
one
up?
more thing I'll just say for the people listening, where can we find you?
Flozigg, Flozigg on all platforms. Yeah, Twitter, IG, Spotify. Make sure you follow me on Spotify too. That would be amazing. If you're, if you're seeking to keep up with what I'm putting out, which the catalog is gonna get, big. So, I think that's yeah. I feel like that's my most important thing is probably follow me on Spotify. But yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it.
No, incredible, incredible. Well, man, have a great day, man. I'm sure we'll chat soon in the future. And yeah, thank you for your time.
Of course. Have a great day,
Peace.
man.
Peace. You too, man.
Peace.